Welcome to Miss Martin Muses. Welcome to Miss Martin Muses, where we muse upon what makes me laugh, makes me cry, makes me happy, makes me sad, or just really ticks me off. Today we're going to talk about something that ticks me off and definitely makes me perturbed. And that is this trend of race swapping. The catalyst for this was the new Wizards of the Coast images race swapping Aragorn, making him black. And it's that which I want to examine. And when I say examine, I want to lay this out that this is going to be slightly different type of video. I am by trade a historian and an anthropologist. So I'm going to be throwing out some thoughts, some theses, and not necessarily a lot of conclusions, because I want to just examine these ideas and then hear what you all have to say. Is there anything that your experience can add to the subject? So we're going to go ahead and jump right in. So here's Aragorn, son of Arathorn, wielding Anduril, his sword. There's been some chatter around the Twitterverse disingenuously trying to claim that Tolkien never described Aragorn and what he was supposed to look like. When people say that, they're not being truthful. Aragorn was described in the Fellowship of the Ring from his very first appearance. It's a fact. And it's my opinion that the people saying these things on Twitter, they know. So showing them where Aragorn is described in the Fellowship of the Ring is probably a waste of time. I had made a video, please check it out if you would like, detailing that portion of the Fellowship of the Ring in which Aragorn's appearance is described for your reference, in case you run across somebody trying to say that Aragorn was never described. And it is very clear that he did not look like this. Neither does Faramir. But you know who else doesn't fit the description from the book? These guys. You have Viggo Mortensen and David Wenham, I believe I pronounced that correctly, from the movies. Yeah, especially Faramir. He has dark hair. So why does the race change make a difference? Obviously, I don't have a problem. I really don't have a problem with how Faramir looks in the movies. So why is it the race swapping that matters? I believe the reason for that is these race swapping of positive male white heroes are not happening in a vacuum. One search from Google brought up these headlines. This is why the race swapping characters matter, especially these ones. This is what our culture now finds acceptable. And as everyone knows, if you win the culture, you win the world. But I've also seen people say, oh my gosh, get over it. It's fiction. It's not real. Aragorn's not real. But you know who is real? This lady, Queen Charlotte. She was the Queen of England, Queen Consort. She was not black. She was white. Anne Boleyn was a real woman. And the race swapping here, particularly, is done in a manner in which it diminishes, and one could argue might erase, the real racial reality of the past. Not to mention, when you're dealing with real people, you need to show them as they were. Manipulating history is not okay, because it's a very small step to something far more sinister. Hey, she wasn't black either. Queen Cleopatra. She ticked off the entire nation of Egypt and a lot of those Mediterranean cultures because these are people of pride for them. And it's also altering their history. But I was curious. They race swapped the women. Did they do the same thing to the men? Let's have a look. Oh, Queen Charlotte's husband, the king, he's white. Oh, they kept Henry VIII white. And Mark Antony. People could argue where they were white, yes. But also, so was Queen Charlotte, so was Anne Boleyn, and Queen Cleopatra was Macedonian. So why change it? Why change the women, not the men? I'm going to examine why that also brings open a whole other can of worms in a minute. But before we do, I want to look at some race swapping in fiction. There was an adaptation of Les Miserables that came out a few years ago. They race swapped Javert. They made him black. And there was a big deal. It's like, oh, look, Javert can be black. Yay. If you know Les Miserables, Javert is the villain. They race swapped the white character to make him black. What else did they do? Oh, look. They race swapped The evil Thenardier. Thenardier is a character who is a swindler, a thief, and a horrible, horrible abuser of children. Who did they keep white? The saintly Jean Valjean, here on the left. The hooker with the heart of gold, Fantine, and her angelic daughter, Cosette. Javert, black. Look at this picture. Look at this progress. Who else did they keep white? Marius. And there's the grown-up Cosette. Look at her. What an angel. There is also the daughter of Thenardier, the bad guy, who's in poverty and longs to be with Marius, named Eponine. Let's see if she's white. Oh, no. She's not. They've also started race swapping Eponine in the stage version. There's Eponine. There's Marius on the left. White. Cosette, white. You might see where I'm going here. Why this is getting uncomfortable. An honorable mention to something very recent. The Little Mermaid, the one who wants to give up everything for her prince and leave behind her family and everything she is, even give up her voice for Eric, the prince who is white. So this race swapping thing, is it as progressive as they say? Once again, I am presenting this as food for thought. What's the alternative of doing race swapping? Help me out. As I said at the beginning, I am throwing out some of these images and showing these examples because they were just too striking for me. And seeing the Aragorn and Faramir, it put me down this rabbit hole. Tell me what I got right. Tell me what I got wrong. And lay it out. I look forward to reading your comments. Have a great day. Have a great day, everyone. And be certain to never fear authenticity.